네, 세션 1 시작하겠습니다. Welcome to the session 1. 네, 이번 세션 좌장을 맡아주신 산자야 바티아 UNDRR 동북아 사무소 및 국제교육 훈련 연수원 소장님께 저는 마이크를 넘겨드리겠습니다. So without further ado, please allow me to invite Mr. Sanjaya Bhatia, Head UNDRR Oni and Gatti, who will moderate this session. I'd like to pass the mic to the Mr. Sanjaya Bhatia. 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Thank you. Thank you. It's working? Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. And we had a very interesting opening. And all the messages were so important and reflected very much the need for continuing and increasing global cooperation for resilience, risk reduction, and then, of course, the point about bringing together climate change adaptation, SDGs, and DRR. So all very interesting. And let's see how the remainder of the forum goes. So this session is going to have two parts. There are two roundtables. The first one is about the Northeast Asia. So we have Korea, China, Japan, and Mongolia here. And the second part will be with the ASEAN. So the association, all the Southeast Asia countries. Now, what I'd like to do is immediately jump into the session so that we can manage the time well. And each speaker has 5 minutes. So let me start by introducing, and you've already met him, Mr. Choi, the Director, APEC, Disaster and Safety Support Group from the Ministry of Interior and Safety of the Republic of Korea, who is also one of the key institutions supporting the Office of Northeast Asia and the Global Education Training Institute. So, Mr. Choi, I hand over to you to talk to us about the international cooperation and your experiences, please.
안녕하세요. Good morning. Morning again. I'll skip my introduce. And I'm really nervous to deliver the presentation, but it's my honor to open up the first session by conveying the very first presentation. I'll talk about what MOIS is doing in terms of international cooperation under the idea of the Sendai Framework. 네, 다음 장 넘겨주세요. Disasters are transboundary in nature, and their economic and social impact spread globally, which make joint action essential. So what should we do? As we probably all know, the priority for action include: first, understanding the risk; second, strengthening disaster risk governance to manage risk effectively; third, investing in disaster risk reduction for resilience; last, enhancing disaster preparedness for effective response and to build back better. So on the circumstance, I match the 4 priorities for action to those tasks and action taken by the MOIS. So let's look into them. Okay. Priority 1 is MOU, in order to understand better and effectively manage risk. MOIS conclude MOUs with other institutions around the world in charge of disaster management. We have currently concluded 16 different MOUs within the disaster field. and the involved countries include China, Japan, Russia, the USA, and many other countries. The MOUs become the fundamental basis for us to actually implement a various range of activity in terms of cooperation. And the network accumulated joint activities, sharing information, etc., allow us to most effectively react and manage current days complicated disasters. Priority 2 is regional governance. MOIS operates a system called Community Disaster Prevent Course, which was established to complement the limitation of government and local administrative capacity, and to strengthen community-led disaster prevention functions. In the event of a disaster, this system enabled the protection of golden time by mobilizing manpower, equipment, and facility through voluntary participation at the community level. The system contributes not only to immediate response, but also to establishment of long-term prevention and the recovery mechanism, thereby enhancing national resilience in a bigger picture. Priority 3 is ODA. Throughout the ODA system, we try to strengthen the disaster management capacity. We believe that these efforts directly reduce disaster loss and enhance community resilience, which is related to the priority 3 of Sendai Framework. By offering financial and technical support through our experience and know-hows, it helps countries develop national strategy and governance system tailored to the risk. Under the idea, ODA contribute not only to immediate risk reduction, but also to long-term sustainable development in direct alignment with Sustainable Development Goals 11 and 13. Last one, next, sharing information. And MOIS also implement various policies in order to actively and effectively deal with disaster recovery. I would like to share a real example of a current wildfire case. In this spring, Korea was severely damaged by wildfire. Recovery plan goes beyond building homes. This plan also contains developing tourism facility and research institutions. It covers revitalizing local economy and strengthening community resilience. This approach aligns with the Sendai Framework's priority as it reduces future disaster risk through safer infrastructure and create a model for sharing best practices. I think it shows how disaster recovery can protect life, restore livelihood, and building long-term resilience. So that was all I prepared for the presentation, and we will expert our best to keep working on what you are doing for disaster risk reduction. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Choi, for the sharing the best practices of the Republic of Korea, sharing the best practices with other countries in the world, including through a lot of work through capacity development, and this forum is one of those examples. I just wanted to add one example for all the audience here, that during COVID-19, South Korea Republic of Korea was able to really use technology applications to prevent the spread of the disease without any lockdown. So there was no lockdown, and it was just tracking and tracing using technology. And one of the lowest casualty rates in the world from COVID-19 was here. And this was the second country in the world to get COVID-19. So, so that is really an example of how technology can be leveraged. And I do encourage all of you to interact with Mr. Choi during lunch break and talk about more of these examples. So with that, thank you again, and let me move on to our next speaker, Mr. Wang, who comes from the Department of Information and Communication, Ministry of Emergency Management, China.
Thank you. Oui. Good morning. It is a great honor to speak in this forum on behalf of Chinese Ministry of Emergency Management. The Chinese government places high priority on disaster prevention, mitigations, and relief, and has continuously worked to enhance the corresponding systems and capabilities. China actively participates in global disaster reduction efforts and support the goals of the Sendai Framework for disaster risk reduction. China is one of countries most severely affected by natural disasters in the world, making it particularly crucial to strengthen its capabilities to withstand them. We have well followed the principles of putting people and their lives first. We have been working to increase public awareness of disaster prevention and improve people's rescue abilities, aiming to create a society where everyone will use safety and can respond to emergencies. Firstly, we will strengthen public education on disaster prevention and mitigation. We will leverage the public service role of media by releasing natural disaster risk assessment, enhancing disaster risk warning, and providing emergency information service. We will regularly hold nationwide public safety open course and provide conferences on safety knowledge, covering topics such as fire prevention, earthquake evacuation, and flood control, in order to educate the public on disaster prevention and mitigations. Secondly, we will carry out public activities on disaster prevention and mitigation, during National Disaster Prevention and Reduction Day and the International Day for Disaster Reductions. We will organize activities like safety knowledge dissemination, scarce trains, and emergency drills, and emergency evacuation. We will carry out safety public safety activities in enterprise, rural areas, communities, schools, and families, involving more than 500 million people annually. Thirdly, we will expand communications channels for disaster prevention and mitigation. We will develop popular second products such as disaster prevention and mitigation guidebooks, animations, games, films, and TV serials. we have been promoting the development of disaster prevention and mitigations popular sequence venues. This effect has greatly expanded the coverage of public disaster education. As global warming intensifies, extreme weather events are becoming more civilized, more intense, and more frequent. The Chinese government will continue to modernize its emergency management system and capabilities, enhance cooperation with UNDRR in multilateralized and regional collaboration. We will actively expanding the Belt and Road international cooperation, framework for disaster risk reductions and emergency management. Let us work together to put into practice the vision of communities with shared future for mankind, to better safeguard the common well-being of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hucheng, and very interesting examples again, especially using multimedia to reach the communities, including through TV series and animation and all. And I hope we can have some more discussion with you later today to find out more about this. So let me now move on to Mr. Kita from the International Cooperation Division, Disaster Management Bureau of the Cabinet Office of Japan. Please share your experiences. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just a moment. It's a great honor to be here today. Thank you very much for the Incheon Institute and the Korean government and the UNDRR. Today, I would like to talk about Japan's international cooperation in DRR. My name is Kita. In Chinese character, my name signifies many happy. I would like to provide many happy to all of you. And I am now in charge. I belonging to Cabinet Office of Japan now. But Japanese government next year will establish a new agency for the disaster management to strengthen the disaster management measures. So I am going to be a member of the new agency as long as I don't get fired. So let's get started. So at first, because of the climate change, natural disasters are more often, more frequent, and more severe. As everyone knows, DRR is a global issue, so we must work closely together. Japan has a long history of natural disasters. For example, 1995, the Great Hanshin Awaji earthquake, more than 6,000 people died. And 2011, the Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami, more than 20,000 people died. And more recently, last year, in 2024, the Noto Peninsula earthquake hit the New Year's Day. 600 people died, and many homes and infrastructure are severe damaged. So Japan has learned a lot from these disasters and developed knowledge and technologies and systems. So Japan would like to share our experience and would like to contribute to international cooperations. And Japan's role is not only sharing the experience, but also to provide concrete support to other countries. there are 3 points. 1, capacity building. 2, technical support. 3, financial assistance. First, capacity building. Japan provides training program in Japan and abroad. We dispatch Japanese experts to the overseas and invite many officials in the disaster management agency of foreign countries to Japan and to give lectures. And Japan focus on not only central government, but also local community, local authorities, because local community and local authority is a key fundamental, key function for the resilience. And the next point is the technical support. Japan helps with construction of disaster resilient infrastructure, for example, dams, levees, and flood management systems. And also, we helped with creating disaster-related laws, systems, and hazard maps. Finally, it is very important, financial assistance. We provide financial assistance through ODA, so for vulnerable countries. So some countries are short of budget, short of natural resources. So we, Japan, have to provide financial support for these countries. And Japan also helps many projects in ASEAN through the Japan-ASEAN Integration Fund, so JIFE. And Japan now working together with global partners and helped global activities. For example, with UNDRR, we provide contributions and we co-host annual International Recovery Forum in Japan to promote Build Back Better. And for ASEAN, we support many projects through JIFE. And third, ADRC, ASEAN Disaster Reduction Center, based in Kobe in Japan. Japan's strong support for ADRC's activities, for example, providing training, satellite monitoring, knowledge sharing. Now we are expanding collaboration with other organizations, for example, APEC and other UN organizations. For example, UN Habitat and UNESCO. For example, with UN Habitat, we can create more resilient cities and homes. And with UNESCO, we would like to promote nature-based solutions based on scientific basis. Finally, Japan committed to the implementation of the Sendai Framework. It emphasized understand risks, governance, and investment preparedness. We will continue to work closely together and provide support. Our goal is clear: to build a safer and more resilient world for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your intervention and also sharing all these examples. One important point I would say is the recovery part, which is sometimes overlooked, but also very, very important. And I think we will talk more about that in a while. So now let me move on to Mr. Dagwa, who heads the Information Technology Division of the National Emergency Management Agency of Mongolia. The floor is yours.
Nick. Hello. Do you hear it? Yeah, okay. Thank you, moderator. I will present you about Mongolia's implementation of the Sendai Framework for disaster risk reduction. Does it work? Okay. Okay, in this presentations, this is showing my contents of my presentations about disaster statistics and review of this DRR in Mongolia and collaboration, and then latest I will show you this key forwards. This is the statistic Mongolia. So statistic data indicates in concerning upward trend in occurrence of disaster and the related fatalities in Mongolia. During the period of 2005 to 14, an annual average of 3,300 hazardous events and accidents were registered, resulting in the loss of 214 fatalities. In the subsequent period of 2015 to 24, this figures the rose to an annual average of the 4,500 events and 251 fatalities. It's excluding the COVID-19. It's reflecting 35% of increase in number of indicates and 17% of increase in fatalities. Should this trajectory persist, projection for 2025 to 2034 suggests that Mongolia may experience an annual average approximately 6 million disaster and hazardous events, accidents with estimated almost 300 fatalities in each year. So we have not started identifying the disaster level under the approved criteria yet. So therefore, it's not considered that all hazardous events in the incidents registered in Mongolia meet the disaster level. Some disaster occurrences, they meet the criteria for the disaster, some do not. So, okay, so you can see this the table, so which is the disaster type of disasters increase in each year. So on the red one is the increasing, the green one is going down. The review of disaster DRR in Mongolia. So the national strategy for this DRR, the medium-term strategy implementation of Sendai Framework for DRR in Mongolia was approved government resolution in 2017. The national strategy sets one big goal, the 9 objectives to reach the goal, and puts the 4 priorities for the DRR in action. So we have the plan 3 phases. The first phase is 2017-22. Is it completed? So the report is available for us. So second phase is ongoing. So this is 2021-2025. The third phase is it's just planning to 2030. So you can see this report in the table. So this is the percentage of the implementation of the action plan. Okay, this is just highlighting progress in the risk assessment information and understanding. So we had a guideline for disaster assessment were developed by the 10 major disaster types occurring in Mongolia. So based on the standard, Mongolian MNS and ISO 31,000 in 2020 risk assessment. So you can see this the pictures. So there has the type of disasters. So we have done that guideline for the disaster risk assessment. So collaboration and partnership in Mongolia. So the government of Mongolia the organization has established the cooperation the documents with 37 countries and it's working with 25 international and non-governmental organizations in the field of disaster risk reduction. The technical support and human resources capacity building. In addition, new partnerships have been established with 12 countries and 5 international organizations. So there's showing some key forwards. So I have just highlighted this to achieve the goal and the objectives of the national strategy for DRR until 2030. So we would prepare to enhance international cooperation in the following DRR activities. I have just highlighted this for introduce innovation technology and in DRR, and then joint study and research in DRR, and then improve the management, emergency management, the human resource capacity and capabilities, and then build community center for the DRR and education, the promotion. This is, for example, child and women, etc. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Colonel Dakwa. And this just wanted to mention also that Mongolia is a very good example of the national to local capacity development. So that is like it has been taken up. The local resilience program was taken up like at the national level to cover all the local bodies within the country in Mongolia. And I hope we will see some more examples of that later in this forum. So with this, we conclude the first roundtable, which was the Northeast Asia. I want to thank all the representatives of China, Japan, Korea, and Mongolia to make this possible by coming personally here. So I thank you all, and we will now give a couple of minutes for the rearrangement for the second roundtable. So one big hand again. Thank you.